Maybe a movie like this can make people feel connected to the ocean, and maybe that makes them think a little bit. And I'm not saying just send $10 to Greenpeace. I'm talking about think about how we can work together to conserve this wonderful, beautiful, amazing thing that we have right here on planet Earth.
Okay. It's a fantastic film. Oh my gosh.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
What were you expecting versus what you experienced?
I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know what the story was or anything like that. But the thing is, when I saw the first film, I was 27, and now I'm 40, and I have a 7-year-old daughter. So I completely related to these characters.
Yeah. Then, as you know, being a father changes your entire perception of life.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what I was dealing with when I wrote this.
Yeah, I mean, and I felt like every single character in this film in a completely different way than I did the original, because the original I saw with my little girl during the re-release, and she loved it.
Oh, cool.
So this film, oh my gosh, she's going to be blown away. First question, first of all, James, congratulations on this film. I am almost convinced you shot this on a different planet.
We did.
Yeah.
All right, the secret's out.
Absolutely.
The whole thing about the CG, that's just a smokescreen.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. It seems like it, but the world of Pandora and Avatar is just so immersive and so beautiful and imaginative. Can you talk to me about the developmental process, going from development to the script and then to shooting underwater, which is amazing?
Yeah. Technically, we didn't shoot underwater, we captured underwater,
right,
which is a whole different set of problems, right? So we had to solve that. But starting from development, it's like, okay, I thought this time I want to work with a team of writers. We're doing multiple scripts. I'd already decided I wanted to do a trilogy. Turned out now I guess it's a quadrilogy, if that's the right word. But I had to have a starting point. So I sat down and I just made a bunch of notes for like 6 months. Literally just every day sitting at my desk, talking about the world, the characters, trying to fill in like what happened the day after Jake woke up in a Na'vi body, and just carrying the story forward. And I knew I had certain goals in mind. And so I walked in on the first day with the whole writer's room, and I plopped down 800 pages of notes, single-spaced. I said, do your homework, then we'll talk, And then we got together, and the first thing I challenged them with is, before we start talking about new stories, let's figure out how the first story worked. Like, what were people keying into? What was working for them, And we had a lot of discussions about that. And then every idea that we came up with as we went along had to measure up against that standard. It had to hit the heart, had to hit the mind, had to hit the imagination, and it had to hit something even deeper, which we had a hard time quantifying, but something, you could call it spiritual, you could call it subconscious, some kind of connection that you can't even really describe in words, right? And I said, if we can't do that again, then we're going to fail. And they were like, okay. But we did it. I mean, I think we did it. You just gotta, as you go along, you look at images, you look at scenes, you look at moments with the actors, you say, how's this working?
Right. I don't think I've ever been immersed in a movie like I have like this. It's incredible. Now, I know you're very knowledgeable about the ocean, which terrifies me, by the way. And a huge.
But you weren't terrified during the movie.
Not during the movie. But ironically, I live in Manhattan Beach, which I shouldn't be terrified of the ocean. But
drop by. We're just down the block.
Well, yeah, I know. But you're a huge advocate of conservation. Sure. What was it about the ocean that inspired this story and the new culture that we find in Avatar: Way of the Water?
I've been in love with the ocean since I was a kid. I've been a scuba diver since I was 16. I've spent thousands of hours underwater all over the place. I've seen how the reefs are being degraded. I've seen how the ocean is suffering and failing as a result of our presence. We're now 8 billion people. When I was born, we were 3 billion people. Now it's 8 billion people, and we have to change how we operate. And there's no reason why we can't have beautiful, wonderful, fulfilling lives as human beings. We just have to do things differently, right? And so, I feel that our guardianship of the ocean is something that we all have to share. Everybody everywhere has to share it. Even if you live inland, your downstream runoff, from your agricultural fields that's making your food, that's going in the ocean. When every time you eat fish, that's affecting the ocean. It's all connected, right? So maybe a movie like this can make people feel connected to the ocean, and maybe that makes them think a little bit. And I'm not saying just send $10 to Greenpeace. I'm talking about think about how we can work together to conserve this wonderful, beautiful, amazing thing that we have right here on planet Earth. We don't have to go to Alpha Centauri to see a cool ocean.
Look, James, thank you for making this film. It is out of this world, quite literally. I mean, a fantastic job. I thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
All right.